Hello everyone, this is Ram Prasad and we will talk about the trip that we took to Spiti Valley through Manali. I know August isn't the best time to visit there considering the rains and amount of landslides that happen there, but it was the risk we had to take considering most of us did not have a time for September and further down the road. So we decided to take a risk and do how much ever we could. Obviously, we had one spare day. We started on 13th of August and we ended the trip on 19th. So we hoped that everything will go smoothly and probably we'll have one spare day at Manali, but obviously nature had its own plans. So let's go step by steps, and meanwhile on the B-roll you will get to see some videos from my Insta 360 and some photographs of the group and sceneries and etc. Okay, so day one, obviously we landed in Chandigarh. We took our bikes. We hired Himalayan 450s, which are the best considering all the weather over there and the road condition. Trust me, the roads are not great. Okay, so we started from Chandigarh and we started a little late considering the flight was early morning. So we reached via Shimla to Narkanda, but we reached Shimla in the evening, let's say 6 p.m. maybe, and then we had tea and then we started the journey late. There was continuous fog from Shimla to Narkanda. For 2 hours we were driving in huge fog, and there was rain continuously. I have heard that there is one more road which comes from some other. It's a single lane road, and it goes through parts where it doesn't fog up that much. But we were not aware of this road, so we went by the regular road, which goes from Shimla to Narkanda. And for two hours 15 minutes, we were riding in fog. So we reached Shimla, we reached Narkanda. We stayed there, and next day morning, few of us thought that it is way too risky and we should not continue further. So our group of six reduced to four, we courageous ones or foolish ones, whatever you want to call us. But we went from there, decided to go towards. So from Narkanda we went to Kalpa. Okay, so there is one more option. You can go to a village called Sangla. Okay, it goes from one of the main roads towards internal part, which is around 15 kilometers. And from Sangla there is a fort over nearby, and from there you can go to Chitkul, which is the farthermost village over there, and which is very beautiful, lovely scenic views. But we thought that we had to go the next day a little early to the army base camp, so we wanted to have some time, and it was the 15th of August. We were hoping that we would go early, so that's why we did not take Sangla and we went straight away to Kalpa. But we stayed there at Kalpa. Mountain views, very beautiful, very beautiful. And then next day we got up early and we started the journey from Kalpa to Nako and to Tabo. So next day was planned at Tabo, but nature was planning something else for us. There was a huge landslide just ahead of Kalpa, and it would have taken probably a day or two for that to clear. Fortunately, there was one road we had to come all the way to Kalpa, and from the village we had to take a single lane road which was completely off road, and then we would join the main road there. So this detour took 2 hours extra from the scheduled time that we were hoping for. And but we saw a really nice waterfall, and to our pleasant surprise, there were Himalayan electronic bikes. They were testing there. It was a group of almost 7-8 people. Obviously, the company people, they were testing the bike in different conditions, and we asked them how's the bike. They obviously they could not have told us too many things. We took a couple of pictures and we went on our merry way. So we reached Tabo. Sorry, we did not reach Tabo. We were gonna reach Tabo, but we reached a village called Nako, and just ahead of that, it's a place called Malang, which is almost 12,000 meters, 12,000 feet. Sorry, 12,000 feet in height. But there was a big landslide, almost 200 meters wide. Landslide was there, and nobody could move an inch. We waited there and we thought, BRO will do their magic, and they were doing it actually whatever they could. The one side JCB was doing, and the other side was also JCB was working, and we would hope that maybe the next day we would be able to move forward. But unfortunately, that was not the case. We had to stay another day. So the next day we started, let's say 11ish, and we thought that the road was clear, and to our surprise, obviously it was not. So we had to stay in that village, Nako village, for another day. There's a beautiful monastery there. We had a look around, and there's a viewpoint, and also there's a lake, which is Nako Lake. It's a beautiful lake. The water is slightly greenish in color. I don't know why, but it is what it is. And it was a beautiful lake. We didn't do the boating, but we were just sitting around chilling and hoping that the roads would get cleared up, but it didn't. So we waited the next day morning. Fortunately, the roads were clear. So during this time, 2 days have passed, and we were obviously running behind the schedule. We were supposed to be in the army base camp on 15th of August for the flag hosting, but we reached there on 17th. So we reached there, and then there's an area, I forgot the name, I'll put it in the description maybe. There you can go where you can see the Indo-Tibet border, and just on the other side of the hill is the Tibetan village. You can very well see it. I'll put some pictures also, and it was a lovely view. We took pictures, we met our brothers at arms, our soldiers. We respect you, all of you, and because of your sacrifice and everything, we are here, and we can do whatever we can in the country just because of you. Thank you very much. So we met there, we saw the area, and we came back, and then we moved forward towards obviously Tabo. There we did not stay there. We just moved past it, and we went straight up to Spiti, that is Kaza, and we stayed there. We reached around 6:30ish. We were very tired, but again the 2 days were wasted just because of the landslide at Malang. So we had to compensate for all the time that was lost, and we were just thinking, what should we do? Should we extend the trip by a day, or should we just continue and maybe cover 2 days journey in one day? That would probably be a little tiring, but yes, we were up for an adventure. But there was one more issue. Even though we were in Kaza, we heard that the Manali Chandigarh highway was blocked, and it was, I think, 18th, and the road was blocked, and we were so not sure whether we will be able to pass and reach Chandigarh or not, or we would have to come all the way doing the same route again. But I don't know, we were just hoping that by the time we reached there, it probably would be clear. So let's see. Yeah, so we were at Spiti, I mean Kaza, and had two options, whether to extend our trip by a day or two, or to do the journey from Spiti to Manali in one day. Previously, we had planned that we would go from Spiti to Chandrataal, and we were going to stay there for one night, and then we were going to go from Chandrataal to Manali. So it was a 2 day trip, and there was the huge landslide at Nako village, Malam. So because of that, we could not do this plan. So we decided we'll get up very early morning and we'll start the trip. Obviously, Kaza sightseeing included a post office, which is the world's highest post office, but we decided to skip that, and the world's highest petrol pump. But obviously, the key monastery was in our itinerary, and obviously, it was on the way from Kaza to Key Monastery and the Chicham Bridge, and so on and so forth. So we got up early, let's say 5:30 ish, and then we decided to leave early. We were started our journey by 6:30. We reached Key Monastery, which is very nearby in just 30 minutes or so. Uh, the best view that you get of the Key Monastery, you have to park your vehicles at the monastery and go hiking just maybe 10 minutes or so, and from there is a viewpoint, and you can see the uh, entire of the Key Monastery. But because of time constraint, we just took photos from the road, and we decided to move forward. Obviously, uh, Chicham Bridge, we took lots of videos over there, and then comes the off-roading part. It was quite a bit of off-road, trust me, and all of us have done Ladakh 3 times, okay, every year 3 times, and still we thought it was a difficult thing. From I think the Manali, from Kaza to Manali, it is almost 190 kilometers or something. If you take Chandrataal detour, Chandrataal from the main road, it is around 15 kilometers, but that takes around 45 minutes one way, and you have to park your bikes and then hike a little bit and go to the lake, which is another for 30 minutes or so. So if you decide to go to Chandratal on this route, you will have to spare at least 2 hours, okay? And mind you, there is no network, okay? There is a village in between. If I remember the name, I'll put it in the description. From that village to almost Rohtang Pass, nearby that area, there's no network, any mobile provider, and that entire patch is off-road. We could drive only, let's say, 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, and and there are two big water crossings at Chandratal. Okay, immediately when you start for Chandratal, there is one big water crossing, and there's one more, and there are many small water crossings on this road towards Manali. I think I counted 5 or 6 big ones and maybe 7 or 8 small ones. So you have to surpass all of these things. So we went all the way from there, and then we reached the mountain area just before the Rohtang Pass. There was again the rain had started, and there was area where there was lots of mud and slush. Oh god, the bike was skidding over there. It was a little difficult, but we still went forward, and we reached Atal Tunnel. Obviously, it was mesmerizing to see this engineering marvel that is the Atal Tunnel. I think it is around 11 kilometers long. Very beautiful, very nicely done. I could turn my Insta 360 and took the video inside. It's lovely, very beautiful. You must see that. And from there, there's again downhill, beautiful views of Manali mountains. Okay, you go from one side of the river and just zigzag moments, and it was really beautiful. We reached Manali at 6 p.m. and it was a very tiring day. Almost, if you see, we had left at 6:30 in the morning and we reached there at 6 p.m. So almost 11 and a half hours, but maybe if you consider rest and everything, the riding part must be 9.5 hours. It was quite tiring, so we just had dinner and we just dozed off. The next day we had flight from Manali, from Chandigarh actually, at 11 ish, and we had to leave from Manali to Chandigarh, but there was a huge landslide after one of the tunnels, so probably the road was not on when had reached there. So we had informed the reception that if you hear any news that the roads are open, just let us know, we will start moving. And around 11-ish, we got the news that the roads are open, at least for the bikes. Our backup vehicle had already moved at 9 a.m. and they were already in the line. So it was a huge jam. There was one toll plaza. From there to there was one landslide where it was a patch of, let's say, 100 feet, but only one side cars could go. So because of that, there was a backlog of the vehicles. It was almost 22 kilometers on one side, and after that block, it was almost 10 kilometers. So it was quite horrible. And because we had bikes, we could just move past it. But our backup vehicle entered there in the morning, 10-ish, and that person could exit on this roadblock next day morning around 6 a.m. Okay, it was that bad. Luckily, we managed to move past that, and then uh, we stopped midway for lunch, and after that, the rain started. It was pouring like crazy. It was very bad, very bad. I think it. We were very hungry. We stopped to have lunch at 3 p.m. And despite that, the rain that started, I felt like we should not have had lunch. Oh God! After that, there was another landslide. There was one more area. There was landslide. If I could pinpoint it, I'll put it in the description. It was very bad. And after that, there was luckily a detour at exact that point where there was a road through the mountains, and it was a single road. Only one vehicle could go, but we managed to go from there. Bikes, no hassle, obviously, for car I'm speaking, but we managed to go from there and we moved past that. We almost thought that okay, done, we are done. This was near Shimla. So from Manali, when you reach just before Shimla, for Shimla you have to go straight, and for Chandigarh you have to take a right turn. You take a right turn just after maybe 7-8 kilometers. This was the landslide, and after that the roads were really good, and there was hardly any rain. Almost it was 90 kilometers after that, 95 kilometers, but there was no rain, and it was an expressway, very beautiful roads. We reached very nicely at around 8:15 or something. We reached way before time, and we thought, yeah, we have done something amazing. Against all odds, in this weather, it was very difficult, and luckily on we would say, because obviously we had troubles. It's not that it went smoothly, but definitely considering the weather and the landslide that we had to go through, it was done it was done, I guess. It was, I can't say properly or whatever, but we could manage to complete the trip in our stipulated time frame. And just after we came back, 2 3 days or maybe 3 days later, we could hear the news that the Manali Chandigarh highway is there was river had taken some part of the Manali road, so it was completely shut. So if we would have extended our trip by a day or two, probably we would not have been able to come back from Manali for another 15 days or so. We have no idea. So it was a such an adventurous trip, I would say. I would not recommend going anyone in the August. Definitely, you could consider maybe March to early June, this time frame, where there's no rain and no snow. In the winters, there's huge snow. There's too much snow. You cannot go there on the bikes. On 4x4 vehicles, yes, you can, but on the bikes, no. So I would not recommend, definitely in July, August, and even mid September. I would not recommend. After that, maybe a few month or so, and be prepared for the worst of road conditions, I would say. It was a lot of off-roading, and the road condition was not good. And trust me, we have been in Ladakh. Even in Ladakh, we could on the off-road we could go at a decent speed without any risk. But here it was quite challenging. It was it was every day we were reaching wherever we had to reach, maybe 7, 6. This and one of the days at 9 p.m. At Ladakh, we would reach wherever we wanted to reach at 3 or 4 maximum. So as you can see, the journey was extra. There was an extra journey of maybe 2 to 3 hours. It was quite a challenge, and definitely it is more difficult than Ladakh. Ladakh, the challenge is the high altitude, because everyone who goes to Ladakh enters Leh, most of them by flight. Im- Immediately you are at 11,000 feet. Where in this trip you start at Chandigarh, which is not that high, and then you gradually raise your height. And at Kaza, maybe it is around 12,000, sorry, 15,000 feet, around that. Okay, so there is a gradual increase of height, because of which you do not get mountain sickness as predominantly as you get in Ladakh, which is the major challenge in Ladakh. And here the challenges are the roads, landslides, and the rains, torrential rains. Okay. Uh, Another thing, the mountains here, you will see near the Chandigarh, Manali, all those mountains are green, filled with trees, everything. And the moment you passed Kalpa, from the Kalpa, Tabo, Spiti, everything, this is all barren land, just like Ladakh, probably southern part of the Ladakh's mountains. Ladakh entire, most of the Ladakh is barren lands. But here you get to see both of them. It is the fun part of the trip. And obviously, you should uh, enjoy this if you can. But obviously, safety gear is essential. All of us had the very good helmets, very good jackets, gloves, shin guards, okay, good boots. So all these things are quite essential, and they can be essentially life saving or limb saving, if I may. Okay. Hope this video was informative. Some of the description, like how much is the kilometer and how much time did it take, I will put that in the description. I thought instead of making it just informative, I thought of making this into a conversation where I speak about how my journey was rather than just description. Okay, thank you. Hope you like the video. Like, comment, and subscribe.